Anita! Oh, hello, Flora. Please give me back my son's baseball hat. You can't just go and steal someone else's stuff. I thought he had lost it or something, but then I saw your son wearing it yesterday. Huh? What in the world are you talking about? I didn't do anything of the sort. But the one my son was wearing yesterday was a new baseball hat that I had bought for him. You see, my son is a fan of the professional baseball team on his hat. What? Don't you think that's strange? Because the team on that baseball hat is the juvenile baseball team my son is a part of. What do you mean he's a fan? It's not even a professional baseball team in the first place. Are you sure about that? Who knows? Maybe they just use the same hats. It's true that there is a professional baseball team with the same colored hats, but the team logo on the front is completely different. Oh, and I sewed my son's name and uniform number on the hat, which I clearly saw on the one your son was wearing. What? Seriously? Oh, my bad. Maybe it was your son's hat after all. Yes, the one I bought for my son was slightly different now that I remember it. He must have picked it up thinking it was his. It must have been an honest mistake. There's no point in your son having that hat anyways, and if he's not a part of the baseball team, then people will know immediately that it's stolen if they see him wearing it. Besides, the coach at my son's baseball team is Mr. Tor, so if he sees your son wearing that, you know? So if it was an honest mistake, just like you say, then just give it back already. Mr. Tor? That crazy old man I sometimes see at the park? He's not crazy, he's just very strict and direct with people. Mr. Tor lives nearby, so if he sees your son wearing that, he's sure to call the police on you. The police? Are you sure I have to give it back to you? I mean, my son seems to really like it, and your son could always just get a new hat because he's a part of the team, right? No, it's my son's hat, and I'm not just going to let you have it. If you don't want to have the police called on you, then give me back the hat. Fine, I'll put it in your mailbox. Understood. Please bring it now. What, now? Can't I just give it back to you when I feel like it or something? No. Give it back right now, please. If you don't, I'll tell Mr. Tor and the police. Fine, I get it. I'll bring it right now. Sheesh, you're making such a big deal out of this. It's just a hat, you know. I don't care if it's just a hat. What you're doing is theft, Anita. Don't do anything like this ever again. You're accusing me of being a thief? I told you it was just an honest mistake, and my son must have picked it up thinking it was his because I had bought him one that looked similar. I'm telling you, it was an honest mistake. Yeah, and he never noticed my son's name and uniform number sewed on the hat? I made sure to make it stand out precisely so no one would take it by accident. Next time, I won't be so forgiving and just call the police immediately. Fine, I won't. Just shut up already. You're making such a big deal out of this. Hey, Flora, I saw you entering your house just now. What in the world are you doing? Huh? What am I doing? I went to the supermarket to buy some stuff. You went to the supermarket? I don't think you have the luxury to be doing such things considering the situation. You called me out so many times before, but when you're the one in trouble, you just lie like it's so easy for you. That's what's called a hypocrite, Flora. All I ever do is make honest mistakes, but what you're doing right now is simply despicable. What? I don't know what you're talking about, Anita. Why are you in such a fuss? Your child just got taken away by an ambulance. I don't understand how you can just be so calm. Huh? Are you sure that it was my child? Yes, he was wearing your son's hat. I don't know who called the ambulance, but you noticed it come, right? There were so many people watching as well. I don't get why you can just pretend you don't know what's happening. Your own child got into an accident and was taken to the hospital, but you won't even go visit him since it's too much of a hassle for you. Hold on. I'm telling you, leave your house and go to the hospital right now. By the way, that accident wasn't my fault, all right? Huh? What do you mean it wasn't your fault? First of all, I don't know what you're talking about, and second of all, I never said it was your fault. Anyways, my son is in the house right now, so it can't be him. Huh? Are you sure about that? Yeah, he's practicing baseball in the yard right now. What? He's practicing baseball? But he just got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. How could he have recovered so fast? Are you being serious right now, Anita? I'm not saying that he's already back from the hospital, but that he was never taken to the hospital in the first place. The ambulance you're talking about is the one that drove by our house on the way to the main road, right? Yes, that one. So your son was taken to the hospital after all? No, I'm telling you, he wasn't. Are you even listening to a word I say? Why do I even bother talking to you? At the time the ambulance came, I was at the supermarket across the main road. When I got home, I saw there was a crowd of people gathered at the side of the road. I saw there was an ambulance as well, so I thought something must have happened, but I didn't bother looking and just went inside. Oh, and once I got home, both my son and mother-in-law welcomed me back, which means that my son wasn't the one who was hospitalized, and I don't know what you're talking about. But... Oh, and this is completely unrelated, but we already moved. Huh? Oh, when did you move? You see, my husband was relocated at work, and so we decided to move to where his new office is. We've already bought a new house. But I have work as well, and my son has school, so the three of us, me, my son, and my mother-in-law, are going to be staying here for a bit longer. My father-in-law and my husband have already moved to our new house. We're planning on going there tonight and having dinner. Besides, my son is right in front of me, so what you've been saying all this time is nonsense. You must have mistaken someone else for my son. What? Then who was that taken away by the ambulance? I could have sworn it was your son that got into an accident. Anita, you really shouldn't bother yourself with such things. It's none of our business. We'll just cause trouble if we start a commotion over something we don't have anything to do with. And if we did have something to do with it, we would have gotten a call from the hospital or police or something. If the person who was carried away was our neighbor, then we'll find out soon who it was and what happened, right? Why are you insisting so much that it was my son anyways? Did you get a close look and think it was him or something? Maybe you thought it was my son because it was some kid from nearby that looked like him, but thankfully nothing's happened with us here, so don't worry. Oh, is that so? Oh, it's fine if that's the case, though. I don't care if it has nothing to do with your son. Bye, then. Hello, Anita? I found out who was taken away by the ambulance yesterday. You seemed to be bothered about it a lot, so I'll share the information with you. Who was it? Apparently it was the son of Mr. Tor, the coach at my son's baseball team. What? That was Mr. Tor's son? Yep. I went to today's baseball practice with my son and saw that Mr. Tor's son wasn't there. So I asked him about it, and he told me about yesterday's accident. Apparently a bicycle that was going full speed crashed into him when he turned a corner. Luckily, he wasn't seriously injured, but he hit his head, so he went to the hospital to have it checked up just in case. Oh, is that so? I'm glad nothing serious happened to him. But apparently the person that ran into him fled the scene, and they still don't know who it was. What a sick person. To think that they would crash into an elementary school student and just flee the scene without even thinking to help? But if they had stayed and helped, surely they would have had to face the consequences of crashing into a child. It's only natural that they fled the scene, in my opinion. Is that a crime, do you think? Of course it is. Fleeing the scene is what a coward would do, Anita. An honest person would stay and do whatever they could to make up for his or her mistake. Even though it was just a bicycle, what this person did was clearly illegal. You can't just be going that fast on a sidewalk. It's against road laws. Yeah, you're right, I guess. Besides, if it was an honest mistake, they probably wouldn't have had to go to prison or something like that, right? But I don't know that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Huh? It's so scary that there are all these laws we don't even know about, don't you think? I'd better watch out myself. Oh, I remembered I have to do something. Bye! Okay. Flora, something terrible has happened. What should I do? What do you think is the best thing to do at times like this, Flora? I need your advice. Why are you panicking so much? The police are at my front door. I'm scared to open it, so I'm pretending that no one's home. What? You can't just pretend to not be there when the police are at your door. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. If you didn't do anything, there's no reason to be scared of the police, so why don't you just open the door and see what they want from you? No, I'm not going to open the door. Why not? Because you did something and that's why you're hiding from the police? Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything to deserve being locked up. Do you suspect me of being a criminal or something? I never said that you did anything that would get you locked up. And if there's nothing suspicious about you, then there's no need to hide from the police, is there? I didn't mean it like that. It's just that... If that's the case, then you should just open the door and talk to them, right? But... I can't, all right? It's hard to explain. You panicked at the sight of the police, and so without even thinking, texted me asking for help, even though it will only make things worse. Did I get that right? I think the best thing for you to do right now is to just accept that we all know about what you did now. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. Hey, Anita, don't you realize that you messed up yesterday during our conversation? Huh? What do you mean I messed up? When I was telling you about the bicycle accident Mr. Torr's son got into, I only said that a bicycle crashed into his son, right? But for some reason, you knew what type of bicycle crashed into him, saying something about how it was so scary that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Up until then, you seemed to know nothing about the accident, but for some reason you knew the type of bike that crashed into Mr. Torr's son. Seriously? I thought it was strange how you seemed to be so panicked about the accident at first, when you thought it was my son and not Mr. Torr's son that was hospitalized. You suspected me from the start? Well, it's not like all this proves with certainty that you're the one who crashed into Mr. Torr's son and fled the scene. All I did was tell Mr. Torr, the victim's father, about my suspicions. Why did you do that? What, did you think I would just stand by and let you get away with this? Oh, and by the way, it's not certain that it was me that caused the police to come to your house like this. There's a possibility that you were suspected of being the culprit from the start, and that they were already investigating you. Why is that? Why would they suspect me? Do I really look that much like a criminal? That's not what I meant. Apparently a lot of houses around here have security cameras watching the entrance to their house. So they might have already found evidence that you were the culprit before I told Mr. Torr anything. Security cameras? Yes, you only moved here 1 year ago, so maybe you didn't know, but this area was once terrorized by multiple thefts a few years ago. Theft? Yeah. After that, everyone learned a lesson, and they made contracts with security companies and set security cameras and stuff. So you know what that means, right? Hold on. So you're saying that I was caught on a security camera? I don't know for sure, but surely the police around here know how a lot of people have security cameras in this area. And so they probably asked them to cooperate by providing footage. Oh, but it's just a possibility, all right? No way. This can't be happening. Anita, what's wrong? They found out. They know I did it. To think that it was Mr. Torr's son as well. Anita, are you seriously just realizing this now? But I even got rid of the evidence and threw away my city bike. I thought that they wouldn't have anything to tie me to the accident. What? And they still found out? How is that even possible? Besides, it's that baseball hat of theirs that's the problem. He was wearing the same hat as your son's, which is why I thought it was him when I ran into him. But it had to be Mr. Torr's son of all people. I shouldn't have texted you that day. This never would have happened. Anita, Do you realize that you're basically telling me that you ran into Mr. Tor's son on purpose because you thought he was my son? What are you trying to do, confessing your crimes to me like this? What do you want me to do about it? You think I'm going to help you or something? Huh? No, it's just that you were careful enough to get rid of the evidence by throwing away your city bicycle. But for someone that goes that far, you're pretty scatterbrained, Anita. Maybe if you were a bit less stupid, you would have made a better thief. No, that's not what I meant when I said that I didn't mean that I purposefully ran into Mr. Tor's son because I thought he was your son. You're misunderstanding. I'm going to tell the police, okay? No, don't! My punishment is just going to get worse if you tell them. Apparently, the police knew from the start that she was actually home and just pretending to not be there. Anita tried to flee from the back door, but they were already waiting for her there and captured her. Apparently, she was arrested without even undergoing an investigation first. Oh, and the city bicycle that she disposed of was apparently stolen as well. After a bit more investigation, the police found out that she's guilty of several such petty crimes, and so Anita was locked away behind bars. Anita's husband, on the other hand, went to all the families that Anita had caused trouble for and apologized, and after that he divorced Anita and moved, bringing their children with him. Anita's parents fled without saying a word, ashamed at what their daughter had done. So when Anita finally got out of prison, she had nowhere left to go. And since she still had to pay for several alimonies and hospitalization bills and stuff, she was hardly free, even though she just got out of prison.
Hey, Francine, I'm really sorry. I hate to go on a business trip so soon after the wedding. The first day finally ended. Man, that was a long one.
Hey, honey, it's okay. I admire how hard you work. Work is work. It can't be helped, right? I'll be going to South Korea on business with work myself soon, so it's not like I can say anything.
Sorry to leave you all alone with my mom all of a sudden like this. It's not awkward, is it? Is she doing anything weird?
Why are you apologizing, LOL? Everything's fine, really. Your mom's really kind.
It is? Okay, I'm happy to hear it. What did you do today?
Well, I had to meet someone for work. Then your mom asked me to make a dog kennel. So I went and bought a load of wood planks and building materials at Home Center.
What, a dog kennel? Was my mom planning on getting a dog?
To be honest, I don't really know. I did ask her if she was gonna buy a dog, but she just told me it's a secret and got all evasive. Your mom can be surprisingly playful sometimes, LOL.
That's weird. Did my mom like dogs? I don't remember ever seeing her with one. But I do remember one time when I was a kid, I brought a little stray puppy home and she absolutely flipped out at me. She wouldn't let me keep it.
Maybe she's a little lonely now, what with your dad not being around and all.
I wonder, could it be that? I am pleased though, I've always wanted a dog.
I'm pleased too. It's nice to be able to help your mom out with things. DIY always was my forte. Just you wait, I'm gonna make the best dog kennel there ever was.
I can't wait to see it. Good luck. I have one more thing to look forward to when I get back now.
Don't worry, if she gets the dog before you get home from your trip, I'll send you tons of photos.
Please do. I'm really curious to see what kind of dog she gets. I'm heading for lunch with some coworkers now, so catch you later.
Okay, honey. I'm gonna jump in the tub, then get ready for bed. Nighty night. Linus, are you working right now? Please, will you reply when you get this? And please, I really need you to come home ASAP.
Francine, I'm really sorry. I just saw your messages. I was in a 3-hour business meeting. What happened? Are you okay?
Linus, your mom locked me out of the house.
Huh? My mom did that? She locked you out of the house? But why?
I have no idea why, but I suddenly started feeling sleepy while I was having a coffee with her. I don't remember anything else until... When I came around, I was outside. She came by with a gang of the neighbors to laugh at me just now. She said she has to instill some discipline in me because I'm a useless wife.
Discipline? What does that even mean? Where are you right now?
I'm in a kennel on a leash.
What the fuck? Sorry, but I'm not sure I understand. You're in a... what? Is my phone bugging out?
I don't understand either, Linus. I don't understand at all. If I talk on the phone, your mom might hear and come back out.
Do you mean you're on a leash? Like it's around your neck? Inside a dog kennel?
Yes. Well, to be specific, I'm just outside the kennel. Why is this happening? I'm so confused. If I had to guess based on how things went down, I'd say she most likely carried me out here and attached it while I was asleep. Luckily, I had my phone in my pocket so I could still contact you. But wait, that's not even the worst bit. She brought me out a bowl of dog food for supper after her and the neighbors got done laughing at me. This whole situation is so disgusting. I wouldn't mind so much if people couldn't see me, but this is just too much.
You wouldn't mind? No, this is unacceptable! You're in a kennel on a leash, Francine!
Does your mom think I'm a dog?
Why the hell would she think that? Just to make sure, when you say you're in a kennel on a leash, does that mean you're stuck and you can't escape?
Yeah, she locked the leash to the kennel with a padlock. But don't worry, I messaged one of my friends and they're gonna sneak into the yard real soon. The bit around my neck is made of leather, so she's bringing some scissors to cut it off with.
I see. Sorry, babe, I'm really panicking here. I'm coming home as quickly as I can.
I'm so sorry to mess up your business trip, Linus. Thank you.
I'm the one who should be saying sorry. I really mean it, Francine. This would never have happened if I didn't suggest you live with my mom while I was away. I'll do anything. Please forgive me.
I mean, I only have myself to blame. You made it very clear your mom subjected your past girlfriends to all kinds of crazy harassment. You told me that, and I ignored your warnings. If I just accepted what you told me, this would have never happened. So it's me who should be apologizing. I stubbornly agreed to live with her in spite of knowing her past. Felt super bad for her after losing your dad. I just thought it would be nice for her to have some company.
It's okay, babe. Just leave the rest to me now, okay? If my mom comes back outside before your friend gets there to rescue you, just play dumb.
Got it. I never would have imagined something like this would have happened in a million years. In a certain sense, it's a valuable experience.
All I can do is apologize. I'm so sorry for all this.
Hang on, I should take a selfie. I probably won't get another chance like this.
Huh? Well, I mean, I guess that's true.
Done it. I'll show you when you get back. Be careful. Fly safe.
Linus, this is bad! Francine disappeared! Linus, are you there? I can see you read my messages. Reply!
What?
Not what? Is that any way to talk to your mother? Francine's gone! When I woke up this morning, she was nowhere to be found.
Mom, what the hell did you do?
What did I do? I didn't do anything. If I had to guess what you were talking about, maybe I did play a little joke on her that could be interpreted as having been a tiny bit mean.
A tiny bit mean?
Hear me out. Have you noticed how that girl's always smiling to herself absent-mindedly? Or how she sits like a sloth watching TV when there's very clearly housework to be done? Well, that's just not good enough for the wife of any son of mine. Which is why I decided to instill some discipline into her. You should have seen her! She was really quite the sight. Me and the neighbors were in stitches. My stomach still hurts. I wanted to show you too, Linus. It's a shame you were away on business. Oh, you heard, did you? Well, that's just great. Wait, what? How the devil was she able to get in touch with you?
She has a phone, you know. All she had to do was message me. More importantly, I need you to tell me why the hell you would do something like that. Do you know how upset she is? Seriously, Mom, stop screwing around. This is no joke.
Like I told you, that girl needs to learn some discipline.
Why do you constantly interfere in my life like this, Mom? All the way back to when I was a kid, to my very first girlfriend. Remember the time you gave her a box of bugs for her birthday? Do ya? Because I do. Then there was the time when my girlfriend from college came over and you did nothing but mock her relentlessly because she grew up without a dad. In spite of all that, Francine was still kind enough to give living with you a shot because she wanted to keep you company. She was being kind to you, and this is how you repay her? And you know what? She did that in spite of my warnings. I told her living with you was a bad idea, and she ignored me because she didn't want you to be lonely. You trample on the good of others without even a hint of shame or remorse. Why are you like this?
Linus! I see Francine's got you wrapped around her little finger. She's poisoned you and turned you against me, has she?
Poison? She's done nothing of the sort. In fact, she probably has more patience for you than I do. Or at least she did. The only one who's poisoned here is you!
I had no choice! That girl is so slovenly that someone just had to teach her some manners. It was for her own good. First of all, what the hell is this job she does? Stylist? Pfft, I've never heard something so ridiculous. Can you think of anything more useless? A job for degenerates and delinquents if I've ever heard one. A woman's place is in the house. What good is she as a wife if she doesn't devote herself entirely to you and the housework?
I already told you she's in the process of quitting at the salon so she can spend more time at home. Do you ever listen to me?
And that's not the only thing. There's a good, legitimate reason for me deciding to discipline her.
What's that? Do tell me, this should be good.
Believe me, Linus, I know something that's going to shock you. A sordid secret of the most outrageous kind.
Francine has a secret?
I really didn't want to have to tell you this, but your wife is cheating on you.
Like hell she is. Francine's the last person in the world who would do something like that.
It's the God's honest truth. I've spoken to all of the neighbors at length about this, and we're all in agreement. There's no doubt about it. She's two-timing you, son. How are we so sure, you ask? Well, sometimes when you're out at work, she leaves the house for long periods of time with all these bags. On top of that, there's this guy who pulls up down the street, she gets in, and they drive off together. Plain as day for all to see. Then later on, he drops her off again. All of the neighbors have seen them. Brenda, Mavis, Dorothy. They all know. Everyone knows what your wife's up to except you, Linus.
So what? What does any of this prove?
I was so perplexed about what might be in the bag she's taking with her that I snuck in a look while she went to the bathroom one time. Because my instincts are as sharp as they come, and I just knew there'd be some kind of proof in there. And lo and behold, when I did, they were full of PVC leather clothes. There were more belts than I could even count. In short, they were full of things that normal, right-minded people would have absolutely no use for, and really probably be disgusted by. I was so shocked, I almost fainted to think I'd been living under the same roof as a woman with such tastes. She puts on those clothes and uses those awful tools on her lover while you're away at work. I'm sure of it.
I see.
I'm just trying to save you from her wicked clutches, Linus. Can't you see? Everything I do is for you, son. Always. Which is why I'm certain the reason she disappeared today while you were away on business is so she and her pervert lover could run away and be together for good.
Because this guy you're so convinced is her pervert lover is the idol you're obsessed with.
I'm sorry? Excuse me?
The guy you and all the other old women from the neighborhood have been completely obsessed with lately. The guy she goes out with is Jay Woo, the K-pop idol. You know, the one who makes cameos in all your favorite dramas. Francine used to be a stylist.
What? What? Francine was Jay Woo's stylist?
That's right. He's been touring the US for a while now, right? Well, he hired Francine when he first came over because of her extensive experience in the industry, and she managed him for years. Even despite her having mostly retired now to be a stay-at-home housewife, he still offers her work every now and then. When the pay is so good, she'd be stupid to say no.
Are you saying your wife is meeting up with the Jay-Woo?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because it's her job.
Can I meet him too?
I knew that was coming. This is exactly why we didn't tell you. Because it's you, I knew that not only would you pester her to meet him, but you'd also go bragging about it to the neighbors. And bugging Francine about meets, pictures, autographs. I knew we'd never hear the end of it. So I decided it was best we didn't tell you. The clothing and belts you found while you were snooping through my wife's things were costumes for the music video to his latest song, You're the Apple to My Pie.
Oh my god, what? His latest song? This can't be! You're lying! You're lying! You're lying! You're lying! Jay-Woo's gonna wear that?
Which is why Francine is doing nothing wrong and has absolutely nothing to feel guilty about. This is her job, and I respect her for how hard she works. So I suggest you drop this absurd, hurtful misunderstanding and correct the neighbors about the lies you've told them while you're at it.
Fine, leave it to me. But still, you can't blame me for asking. If Francine and Jay-Woo are so close, then wouldn't it be unreasonable to think she could pull some strings and arrange for me to get a ticket to his next concert, right?
I'm sure she could, if she wanted to. He goes out of his way to hire her despite the fact she's a full-time housewife now after all. It's pretty clear how much he trusts her.
I think I owe Francine an apology.
Yes, clearly you do. But now that I think about it, I doubt you'll ever get the chance. She has no intention of going back to your house after this.
Excuse me?
What do you mean, excuse me? Can you actually say you're surprised? Who in their right mind would want to go back to a house where all the neighbors saw them kenneled up like a dog and think they're cheating on their husband? Let's say, just for argument's sake, that she did want to go back. It still wouldn't be happening, because I won't allow it. You'll never see her again.
Come on, Linus! This all came about through some silly misunderstanding. Can't we just let bygones be bygones?
You think you get a get-out-of-jail-free card because you made a misunderstanding? You think you get to do whatever the hell you want because you made a misunderstanding? You have so little concept of right and wrong that you're actually dangerous. I'm ashamed to say I'm your son.
Come on, Linus, don't be so stubborn! I'm sorry for everything I did, really, I am. I'll do anything. Would you have me on my knees begging for forgiveness? Please, just bring Francine along and let's all live together happily again. I'll devote myself to mending fences with her. I'll make up for everything. A few months from now, we'll all have forgotten about this, and me and her will be best friends.
You think my wife would be best friends with someone who leashed her up in a kennel and fed her dog food? You're only saying this because you want to use her to get to Jay-Woo. I can read you like a book. You're so transparent, it's actually creepy. Oh yeah, I'm selling the house too.
What on earth are you thinking?
I'm pretty sure I should be the one asking you that.
This is too sudden. It's not fair of you to spring this on me now.
I decided yesterday, so I guess you could say it was pretty sudden.
Please, wait! Think this through! I'll have nowhere to live if you sell the house. Would you have me out on the streets? Your own mother?
What are you talking about? Don't you have a new house?
Huh?
Don't worry, I'm not taking that. It's all yours. The kennel.
My mother-in-law immediately sent me a groveling apology message. If I'd have known it would come to this, I might have told her about the situation with Jay-Woo from an earlier stage to avoid the hassle. But I know that if I did, the pestering for meets, autographs, pictures, and concert invites would have been endless. Just as we expected, after all this went down, she immediately went around the neighborhood bragging that her daughter-in-law was Jay-Woo's stylist. However, all the old women from the neighborhood she'd been gossiping to apologized to me with their heads hung in shame, which made me think they possessed a little more decency than my mother-in-law. But I quickly realized I was wrong when they immediately started begging me for tickets to Jay-Woo's concerts the moment they thought they were forgiven. I was deeply disappointed when I was forced to accept that they were all, my mother-in-law included, beyond saving. That said, I did make it clear that my mother-in-law had been lying to them all about me. I heard that she got treated like a pariah ever since, and now she's all alone with no one to badmouth others or gossip with. How tragic. After that, I hired a moving company to take all my belongings from the house. Linus was there to watch over things and make sure his mom didn't make any desperate last-ditch attempts at revenge. But far from it. Actually, all she did was curl up in the fetal position in the corner, crying her eyes out. Naturally, we told the moving company to see to it that all her belongings were left in front of the dog kennel in the yard. In the end, our attempt at living together ended in failure. But even so, I'm super happy we were able to give her the kennel as one final goodbye present. By the way, I still have the selfie I took of myself in the leash on my phone. The whole story was so ridiculous it even makes me laugh now, years on. Now that it's all behind us, in a weird way, I'm actually pleased it happened. It's a great memory in all sorts of ways.